It began at 8 p.m. on October 30th, 1938. Back then, people often gathered around the radio to hear their favorite programs.
Come on, Dad. It's starting.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
Oh boy, this is going to be some show.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's, and yet as mortal as his own. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water.
Comes a special bulletin from Trenton, New Jersey. It is reported that at 8:50 p.m. a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Trenton. The flash in the sky was visible within a radius of several hundred miles, and the noise of the impact was heard as far north as Elizabeth.
It was so realistic. Listen.
A metal cylinder containing strange creatures from Mars, armed with death rays.
Death rays? Wow.
People just weren't sure of anything. Imagine what people thought who tuned in late. They had no way of knowing it was a dramatization.
George, are you sure this isn't real?
I don't know.
News of the Martian invasion spread like wildfire, causing panic and terror across the country. Some people actually imagined they had seen it take place.
It was terrible. The Martians, they set fire to everything. They are going to destroy all of us.
In many churches, evening services became end-of-the-world prayer meetings.
Prayer is our only salvation.
Save us. Save my family.
In a New York theater, a wife called to warn her husband. He spread the word to the rest of the audience.
The Martian are attacking. It's on the news.
We'll all be trapped.
Many people thought it was real. By the time the affair was over, dozens were hospitalized for shock and hysteria.
Lady, there is no cause for alarm. It was only a radio show.
When the smoke had cleared, Orson Welles, director of the show, insisted that no hoax had been intended.
He said the program was well publicized as science fiction and was announced 4 times during the show.
This is Orson Welles, ladies and gentlemen. Out of character, to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. The Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo. Starting now, we couldn't soap all your windows and steal all your garden gates. By tomorrow night, so we did the best next thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You will be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it, and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch, and if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian, it's Halloween.